In this lesson, we're going to compare decimals. We're going to take two decimal numbers and see which is larger, which is smaller, and then use the appropriate inequality symbol, a less than or a greater than, or perhaps an equal to, between them. All right, to compare two positive decimals, compare the digits in the same places from left to right. When the two digits are not equal, the number with the larger digit is the larger decimal. If necessary, insert zeros after the last digit to the right of the decimal to continue comparing. Here's a little example. If you have these two, in the tens place, they're both twos. In the ones place, they're both eights. Decimal point. In the tenths place, they're both two. When you finally get to the hundredths place, you see a difference. You see a 5 and you see a 6. Because 5 is less than 6, this decimal is less than this decimal. So just compare place by place till you find a difference. And just a little helpful hint, you can always write zeros after the rightmost digit and it doesn't change the value. So 7 6/10 is the same as 7 60/100, which is the same as 7 600,000. So you might need to do that sometime. You can use a number line, and just remember the further left you go, the smaller you get. The further right you go, the larger you get. All right, let's take a look. All right, we're going to insert a less than, a greater than, or equal to between these. All right, in the ones place, they're both zeros. In the tenths place, they're both eights. We don't see a difference until we get to the hundredths place. So we're comparing 6 and 4. 6 is greater than 4. That means I'm going to use a greater than symbol. And that's all there is to it. You could also say 86 hundredths is obviously larger than 84 hundredths. All right. Let's look at number 2. I have 0 in the ones. In the tenths place, I see a difference. I have a 7 and I have an 8. 7 is less than 8, so this is the less than. Now, I know that sometimes you look at this and go, it doesn't look smaller. Well, you're thinking in whole numbers. This is 798 thousandths would be smaller than 800 thousandths. If they had the same number of digits, then your eyes would be telling you the truth. So be careful about that. Number 3. In the ones, they're both zeros. In the tenths place, they're both 5s. In the hundredths, 8s. In the thousandths, 2s. I don't have any digits here. All I have over here are zeros. So these are the same. These are equal. Number 4. These are both 149. In the tenths, zeros. In the hundredths, that's where I see a difference. 9 is greater than 3, so it's a greater than. All right, now the next one is negatives, so we're going to have to be real careful. If you want to, you can do what I do, which is I think in terms of positives, and then I switch the direction. All right, let's look at it. If these were positive numbers, 2.526, 2.53. All right, so I'm switching gears and I'm thinking positives for just a minute. They're the same in the ones, they're the same in the tenths. You see a difference right here. And in the positive numbers, it would be less than. But these are negatives. So the direction is opposite. So for the negatives, the more negative you are, the smaller the number. This one is more negative than this one, so it is smaller, points toward the smaller one. I have a tendency to think in terms of positives and then reverse the symbol. You might think of it a different way. You might think of it more on the number line. All right, number 6. All right, I don't have to give a lot of thought to this because I'm comparing, whoops, I'm so sorry. Went away for a minute, had a few things going on. All right, I'm comparing a positive number to a negative number, and a positive number is always greater than a negative number. I don't need to think any more than that. All right, number 7, I am comparing two negatives. So the way I do it, I have 0.011 and 0.012. I'm thinking in terms of positives for just a minute. So in the tenths, they're the same. In the hundredths, they're the same. In the thousandths, I see a difference. And I see a less than symbol. But because these are negatives, the more negative you get, the smaller you get. So it will actually reverse. So I always do that when I'm comparing two negatives. All right, hope you don't have any trouble comparing decimals.